All About Beer receives underwriting support from Monk's Cafe. They understand the importance of independent journalism in the beer space, and their support helps fund original work. Learn how you can affordably support journalists by visiting allaboutbeer.com/support.
Welcome to Drink Beer, Think Beer, the podcast that gets to the bottom of every pint. I'm John Hall. This week, it's a look under the hood of Highland Brewing in Asheville, North Carolina. The venerable institution has been going strong for more than 30 years and has grown and adapted over 2 generations of ownership. From the Craft Brewers Conference in Indianapolis, this episode was recorded before the death of Highland Brewing founder, Oscar Wong. We talk about his impact, the brewery grounds, its future, and more. But first, I'll invite you to keep up with the events and more that's going on via our social media. We're at All About Beer across the major platforms. And if you have comments, guest suggestions, or just want to reach out, you can always email me at johnhall@allaboutbeer.com. We're also supported by you. Please go to allaboutbeer.com/support and learn how just a few bucks can have a huge impact in supporting original journalism in the beer space. And on that note, thanks to this episode's sponsors. Since 2009, Brewery Branding has been crafting merch that helps breweries thrive. They're born and raised in Portland, Oregon, giving them front row seats to the craft beer revolution and inspiring them to serve as your industry ally for everything branded. Apparel, headwear, drinkware, and all of the wouldn't it be cool if ideas you can dream up. Brewery Branding has been there, done that, and made the t-shirts to prove it. Brewery Branding didn't rise to the top just by being just another supplier. They're your merch mercenaries, ready to get in the trenches with you. Their expert design team, online stores, warehousing, and fulfillment services are here to make your life easier and your custom goods more profitable than painful. Whether you're refreshing your retail space, gearing up for festival season, or launching a new product in retail, Brewery Branding delivers custom goods that are on trend, on brand, and ready to succeed. From the smallest batch to the biggest order, nothing gets them more excited than raising a glass to your success. Visit brewerybranding.com to learn more. Today's episode is brought to you by Stomp Stickers. Stomp makes it easy for breweries to stock up on the essential packaging and promotional supplies all in one place. From beer labels and keg collars to coasters, beer boxes, and more, they've got you covered. Plus, every product is backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and their full-time support squad is ready to help anytime. Visit stompstickers.com and use code THINKBEER for 15% off of your first order. If you're running a brewery, owner or operator, Beer 30 by The Fifth Ingredient is the ultimate command center. The most powerful brewery management software on the market, Beer 30 handles the entire brewing workflow, from recipe development to production. Once your beer is brewed and ready, it seamlessly manages your inventory and streamlines your brewery's sales and distribution, all in the same easy-to-use platform. Beer 30 lets you get back to the beer and to the people that made you fall in love with this industry in the first place. And no other brewery management software gives you the ability to truly master your business and get the insights that you need to thrive in an increasingly competitive industry. Visit thefifthingredient.com/allaboutbeer today to learn more and receive 3 free months of Beer 30. There are a lot of important breweries that laid a foundation for the modern craft beer movement. In Western North Carolina, Highland Brewing Company is one that has helped countless drinkers discover flavor and innovation, brewers understand the science of beer, and community seeing the benefit of a small business that is dedicated to place. During the recent Craft Brewers Conference at our podcast residency at Sun King Brewery, I sat down with Nikki Mitchell, who is the VP of Brand Development, and Brock Ashburn, the VP of Operations, who is also the son-in-law of founder Oscar Wong, to talk about Highland Brewing. We talk about Wong's legacy, the rebuilding of Asheville after Hurricane Helene, and how the brewery has evolved over time. Here's our conversation. I'd be remiss if I didn't start by asking, how Asheville is right now, how the region and the area, because anytime there's a big natural disaster, we all pay attention to it around the country, and then the California fires happened, and we were focusing on that, and then the world goes to hell in another place, and and
the media cycle just goes.
It's not always just the media cycle. I think it's just our human our capacity to stay in something unless you're in it all the time. I mean, it's after we had Hurricane Sandy roll through a couple of years ago, and it was devastating to New York and the New Jersey and the shore area. And I was talking to somebody about 6 months later, and it was like, oh yeah, you guys had that storm, didn't you? And it's like, yeah, thousands of people lost their homes. Like it's people just kind of forget. And I think Asheville's had some good media exposure. I wanted to ask about Good Morning America showing up a couple of weeks ago, but how is Asheville?
I'll speak to that first. Asheville is not perfect yet, but we are definitely open for business. We've gone through multiple iterations, but there's still a lot of trash. A lot of businesses haven't opened. I think to me the biggest need right now is small business and what small business needs to survive, and that employs so many people in Asheville because we are a very local city. We don't have a lot of chains. So we can't just plug and play. So we really need people to come visit and support our local business, ourselves included.
Yeah.
So the debris cleanup is going very well. And there's a lot of areas of the city that you can't even tell anything happened, including at our brewery up on the hill. But by and large, we need people to come back and see us.
Yeah. I mean, if you went to downtown Asheville, you would not know that Helene hit 7 months ago. It has the feel that it had before. That's a big draw for tourism in our area. But if you go to Biltmore Village, that's a different situation. Things are closed, and they're still working on rebuilding the Grand Bohemian, which is a beautiful hotel. It's right outside the Biltmore. They're reopening in May, in a little bit of a different capacity. But so we're in recovery and still hospitable. We want people to come. We want people to visit and see the space, and the biggest tourism draws are certainly open for business, and the small businesses need it. They need it. They need the visitors, and they need the attention, and we hope to keep telling that story for the rest of the year.
And I think that there's a worry sometimes of like, well, I don't want to go because I don't want to get in the way, but that's not the case for Asheville right now.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
The places that are getting fully rebuilt, I mean, that there's a whole different level of attention there. So those homes, that's happening, but as far as getting in the way, we want people to come, and that's the general tone of what's happening with the city, with our tourism board, and Explore Asheville, and
What happens is that a lot of times the nonprofits are flooded with cash, and then the municipalities or the big businesses get what they need. Small business tends to be not part of that equation, and so when the cash comes in, we're left kind of holding the bag, so to speak, and so it's kind of up to us to recover, and a lot of people don't see that. They see FEMA money, HUD money coming in, and we probably won't see much of that, and it's really hard.
So how is the brewery impacted? Like, I know there's some breweries that got completely wiped off the map in Asheville. How did you all fare during that?
We were
better than most.
Yeah, incredibly fortunate. We're on a hill,
right.
and the main entrance to our building flooded. One guy got trapped up there between the first flood and the second flood, and he basically cleared all the trees out by himself so you could get up the entrance. Our building was unscathed, but we didn't have water for almost 2 months, and no power for over a week. So turns out to brew beer you need water. You might have noticed that.
Yeah.
Maybe a few people relocated to Asheville because of that. So we've recovered since then. We saved a lot of our beer, remarkably, and we're able to continue to go to work. But tanker trucks of water are not cheap, and we did a lot of that to start with as well.
Yeah. Sorry, did you want to jump in on that as well? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think, from an impact perspective, we fared better than most, and we had to make some choices about, our staff and our skills and how we showed up in the community. And we did that by housing nonprofits and becoming this hub for distribution, 18-wheelers coming and going with supplies that weren't coming to Highland. They were coming to Asheville and our community, and different organizations that didn't have the dock space, the skills with folks on forklifts and logistical know-how, and we had to pivot. We had to pivot for, a solid month, really.
Yeah.
Even though the power came back on, and we ultimately figured out how to get the tankered water into the brew house and the water from the hydrants to the tap room. We really rallied, and I couldn't be more proud of our team and the way we showed up for the community. And
so I want to talk about that, because 30 years now, Highland has been a part of Asheville and the fabric. Like very early on, Oscar wanted to make sure that it was a community brewery, that it was, it wasn't aloof, it wasn't, it was so ingrained in the ethos, the passion of Asheville, that I was following what you guys were doing. I was following what everybody was doing down there, but there is I'm going to say a genuine quality behind it, and that's not to take away from what anybody else was doing down there, but it was because you knew all of these folks. Like you guys were able to mobilize a lot of things really quick because you knew the right people to call, and they knew that they could trust getting your call. And I'm wondering, to the best that you can, like, talk about how those relationships have been forged and fostered.
Oscar P. Wong, relationships are the currency of life. That is a quote. And he doubles down when it comes to human connection being an integral part of the community that you're in, no matter what that is, if that's your neighborhood, if that's your county, if that's your city, if that's your industry. He's founded Highland from a space that, is the tide that rises all ships, digging in, understanding what people need, who they are, how to help, and this authentic community, like this authentic connection that, he just practices it daily, and it's something that is really part of our culture at Highland. And those relationships over decades working together, that's allowed us to have this ability to connect even in disaster.
Oscar's my father-in-law. This is known by most.
He's my work dad.
But I could not agree more with what Nikki just said. It's easy to say words. Sometimes words are easy and you just spout them out. But the action next is what's really important. And what I learned from Oscar is that you do the thing that is right always. And this sounds cliche, and I understand that, and people are rolling their eyes right now, but we didn't even question the need to serve the community day one. It was not a question. It was, how fast can we do it? Mm-hmm. And that was not born of my fortitude or anybody else's. It was because of leadership of Oscar, who exudes community.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
No, I like that. And the community has stuck with you guys as well. The brewery's gone through various iterations. The rebranding. Some beers gain in popularity and then they lose favor, and then new ones come. And I think you guys have tried to innovate along the way. And there's been slow bits and quicker bits and everything else. But
you're very kind.
But what's the what's the state of the brewery these days when it comes to Highland's identity as a beer maker?
Take it, B.
Oh, here we go. I think the beauty that is the liquid that comes out of Highland Brewing is that we are always nodding to tradition. We are not a company that's going to chase a fad. We are a company we're going to lean into innovation. We're going to use a flowable hop product, for example, or really get into the science behind our malt and how we're producing the beer and how we can help with efficiency and innovate in that way. But at the end of the day, you drink a Highland beer and you're like, that's a damn good beer. I mean, no matter where you are, it might not be the style that you want, but that style is true and it's damn good. And that's something that I'm really proud that we get to hang our hat on.
Yeah.
We've got a new Kolsch style ale that just came out, Vacation Gold. That's our spring release, and that is an award-winning small batch beer that we've done. It's probably in its second year, and then we produced it for the marketplace, and it's getting great accolades, great feedback. It's just an easy drinking, beautiful representation of that style.
Do you want to jump in? I'm curious from your standpoint as to where you see the brewery these days.
I'm an IPA.
Just let Brock talk about AVL IPA.
So
I think it's running through his veins.
AVL is a great example of what we've done. We were definitely slow to the IPA game.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first started at Highland in 2012, we were dabbling in some things, but we've definitely upped the game there. And we've been slow at times. Be the first to admit that. But I think if you look at our repertoire right now and our total coverage of beer, it's the best it's ever been. And in terms of, and we were bragging about this before, we were having some German lagers here earlier. I won't tell you where, but our Pilsner is better. Now, of course,
all right.
Our Pilsner is better than the one we
Brock
had.
is full of pride always.
I like that.
It came across, the Atlantic Ocean, so I understand the nuance there. But generally, everybody can hang their hat on quality. They can say quality all day long. Mm-hmm. We've breathed that from day one. We've poured more beer down the drain than we care to admit at times. But
you have to, because
you have to.
If it gets to that point, yeah.
You don't put shit beer on the market ever. Oscar will kick us in our ass immediately if we do that. So
quality, integrity, respect.
Yep.
The three founding values.
So.
When it comes to, I've been to the tap room, and it's a beautiful space, and I want to talk about the grounds in a minute, but when it comes to what's moving over the bar in the tap room versus what's doing well in distribution, is there overlap, or is it two different consumer buckets that you're picking from?
Yeah. That's a great question. It's a great question, and it's something that we waffle with and debate over and pine about for in many of our long-range planning meetings. Our tap room is this incredible cross-section of locals. We've got an incredible loyal base of folks that come multiple times a week. And then we've got tourists, obviously, who are coming to visit Asheville's first brewery and wanting to get that experience. Right now, the best-selling beers that we have are Cerveza, which is our Mexican lager, and then also our Highland Haze, which is a hazy. It's the only hazy that we have right now on draft, and you could argue people are going to walk in and give me whatever's hazy, right?
Sure.
That's certainly the biggest pool to be fishing in the game of IPA. So we explore how do we make ours more unique? How do we lean into a style that might be more modern? And we certainly use the tap room as R&D for our marketplace beers for sure. But there's certainly also, people come to the tap room and they're looking. We've got cocktails now. We're serving cocktails at the tap room, and wine and cider and those sort of things. So it's also more of a gathering place, an experience driver.
Yeah.
Depending on your preferences with the beverages.
I like that. And I when you have one hazy, or you have your hazy out now, and I think that there's a lot of breweries that went through this as they hit a certain age, where it's, Highland doesn't make a hazy, or what does Highland know about making it, and insert any other brewery that's been around for longer than 7, 8, 10 years. Yeah. There's this sort of weirdness, my dad drank that, and what do they know about Citra Mosaic, like that kind of thing. How have you all sort of worked past that? Because I think I feel like, as an outsider, knowing what I know about the brand, you all largely have worked past that. And I know the rebranding helped,
yep.
And sort of doubling down on quality and refocusing on things. But what were those conversations like? And I guess, is it working?
Yeah. You want to take that, Rob?
Yes. So
Yes.
we leaned into our destination. We have 40 acres, 5 volleyball courts, sand volleyball courts, and 18 holes of disc golf. So if you put that in a little package and you start to think about what can I drink when I'm doing these things, we started to lean into what we've known, and my daughters are 27 and 22. They want to do activities, and we meet 20-somethings who want to do things while they drink. They're not like I was, where just sit around and play, spades and get drunk.
Right.
They want to do things. So we started to lean into that space where you come to Highland, you have this experience. So the experiential part of beer becomes something that we hope translates to beer sales in stores. Right now, not happening. Sales in stores are not great, and there are multiple factors there with tariffs and people's tightening of pocketbooks as
Absolutely.
a result.
Yeah.
And so we're not depressed because of that, but we also still really want to lean into that space of healthy drinking, and that's oxymoron at point, but we really believe that we can offer things that others can't, and we're very proud of that.
Yeah. Did you want to follow up on that, Nikki? You looked like you...
Yeah, I guess I also I think to your point earlier, it's we're the house of Gaelic ale, 31 years of Gaelic ale is our flagship, and that is certainly... Hey, I had my first Gaelic ale. It's like the rite of passage when you get to Asheville. It's have you had a Gaelic?
Yeah.
And also, it's the beer your dad might have drank, right? It's your dad's beer, and it's still an incredible liquid. And we talk at length about bringing people into that Gaelic experience if they're 30 today and have never had it. But we have an awesome innovation team, who are constantly looking at recipes, and we do use the tap room as a testing ground for different recipes, leaning into what IPA looks like from our space. In the South, you tend to get West Coast, New England, and then here comes the South with a trend, and we're the third in line, but we're leaning into our own kind of Appalachian experience in the IPA lane. I think AVL is a great example, where we started with this particular recipe. We've tweaked it along the way to make it a little bit more modern, and that's one of our fastest growing brands actually right now.
Really?
Is AVL, absolutely.
Okay.
It resonates in our home market about 100 miles from the brewery versus, maybe deep Georgia, where we do have Gaelic, and Gaelic is our leader.
Yeah.
But that liquid, and leaning into how to modernize it for today's drinker, in a space that resonates from where we're from. That's kind of how we're course correcting along the way.
Yeah. There'd always been this sense of place for you all, very, from those very first days. And I'm wondering, going back just to you talked about the 40 acres, and you talked about the 5 volleyball courts, which I know is a big it's a big point of pride for you all. So one, talk to me about the importance of the volleyball courts, and then let's talk about the rest of the land after that. But yeah,
that's a nod to the boss right there.
Well, yeah. So Leah introduced me to sand volleyball when I first met her in Charlotte, and so I always knew there was a nice flat spot to build these things. So we decided to do it, not knowing exactly what would happen. It was somewhat of a selfish expenditure, but maybe some people will play, we'll make some money. It's turned out to be one of the best financial decisions we've ever made. These people drink, and it's a drinking sport. Even the leagues drink. So we have leagues, 5 nights a week, and then we have pickup on Friday nights, which has turned out to be the biggest bar in Asheville, where everybody who's between 20 and 35 comes out to play volleyball. So
I think there's some 40-somethings in the mix.
There's 40-somethings for sure, and then some 50-somethings. But it's a remarkable. Don't take any credit for being somehow really good at predicting things, but that one turned out to be a winner.
Okay.
It was Leah's passion.
Yeah.
She gets to put her mark, where she wants.
But as that destination, right? I imagine there's people that just know you as the volleyball spot and not even like, oh, you guys
They drop their pin on Google.
like, oh, you guys make beer here too? Like, have you gotten those kind of conversations from folks? Yeah.
Totally. They're probably drinking cider.
But it's become this gathering spot. Families are there. There's just a lot to do. And when you have so much to worry about running a brewery business, making the beer, making sure it's quality, making sure it's getting out, making sure your distributors are happy, all of that. Where does and now we're managing a large scale event space. Like, how does that?
I'll tell you what. It's like,
boy, the PTSD just
goodness,
came out in both of you.
We've got a diversified portfolio. That's what.
Yeah. So two production folks here watching right now, Josh and Russ, two of my favorite people on earth, and we've had a great time. They question at times, I'm sure, our dedication to on-site. They said, well, what about us? We want a new brew house. How about a $2 million investment in 100 barrels? Like, no. And so these investments are help to, as Leah said, diversify our business. Nikki said, we diversified our business so much, and we pivoted in a way that it helps us sustain revenue.
Yeah.
And kind of meet head-on drop in sales in stores. So, and our beer speaks for itself. And when people get there and they taste our beer, they're like, our hope is, and I know it's happened, is that people will buy our beer in the future.
Yeah.
And let's don't forget about COVID. I mean, so Highland started as a manufacturer of craft beer.
Right.
Always, like Oscar had in his mind, we were going to put beers on shelves. I mean, that was the idea, this experience of, this vehicle to create a more social dynamic. And in 2020, I mean, our destination shut down, and our manufacturing facility carried us through all of that. And while we're weathering, I mean, there's no secret that craft beer is we're in a bit of a tough cycle right now, and potentially generational shifts in people's habits and the way they are approaching alcohol in general. And we are fortunate, and we've planned well, and now our destination is going to help us weather that storm through the distribution side.
Yeah.
And we can also look at it in a different way, and that's the things that we're talking about is, before we were looking at our beer, somebody's holding the can of Highland and we want them to come to the destination, but what if they're at the destination and then they choose our beer in the stores, and that cyclical, that synergy really syncs up, and it's the experience of Highland as a brand, whether that's the canned liquid or the volleyball tournament or the place that they, proposed, to their soon-to-be spouse.
Sure.
All that stuff is happening at Highland, and that's what we're hoping to keep going, is the experience.
And have there been things that you've tried to implement on the grounds that just didn't work? Because I feel like with having that much space, like there has to be an evolution to it. It's
sure.
like, it's I forget the term for it, but it's when you have a patch of grass along sidewalks and people just kind of cut through. There's a term for it where the path just sort of creates itself, kind of thing. Like, has there been some of those things that have evolved, and then some other things where you gave it a shot and then after a while you're like, oh, okay,
I think grass is the thing.
Okay.
You tried to give that a shot, Brock, every single year.
You've just given up on grass?
She did.
Our it's mulch. In the same way we approached IPA slowly, obviously, and we've talked about that. And we've also approached what we offer on site slowly. And honestly, everything we've done on site, we curate it well. There's a lot of teamwork there. And music still is kind of a question mark to us. We're doing music 5 nights a week right now, and some of it works, some of it doesn't. So we'll look at that, but I wouldn't say anything failed. It's been more of a morph. We morph into something else that might work better.
Yeah.
We learn lessons and then we move.
And the evolution of a business is sometimes you just have to be like, yeah, we like this, but this just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Or, yeah.
I'll tell you what really doesn't make sense, and that's the evolution of Highland. It has been a community hub for so long, like this gathering place and almost like Asheville's living room. There's people doing pop-up parties and bringing in their it's like that's probably what's not working at the moment is trying to rein in the freedom that folks feel at our at the it's constant brewery that culture where they can just take over.
That's wild. Have you had just people just show up with like full buffets and
totally tablecloths and flowers and balloons?
Last Saturday there were 4 kid birthday parties happening concurrently at brewery, and I walked around. I was like, there. I saw 2 beers, so literally probably.
And we sell juice boxes.
Yeah, 20 tables.
2 beers, but the margins on juice boxes are awesome.
Unbelievable.
They're amazing.
Yeah, the best margins ever.
Could I get you a juice box?
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. We're still
you just
working on that one.
Just giving them to the kids and just it's like Kolsch service. Like every time you drop a juice box, you just do another.
I love this. Somebody write this down. Kolsch service
write that down.
with our Daycation Gold and also juice boxes.
And juice boxes.
Hold my juice box.
Give all of the kids all of the juice.
Exactly.
And it's.
But that's hard. It's hard because it fills into our culture of this place where people want to gather and they want to be and they want to feel connected to, but it's also
But you also want to be respected by
yes, as a business, as a small business in the face of this, storm and trying to weather these uncertain times.
Most of the parks in Asheville are in.
If you're listening, don't bring your cooler.
Don't bring your cooler.
With other people's beer and just start
with any beverage.
Yeah.
A lot of the parks in Asheville are completely closed still, so we're kind of a park now, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
We probably got you off track.
No. This is kind of what I love. But as you think about then that evolution, where would you like to see it go? I obviously no more birthday parties, but unsanctioned birthday parties.
Smash cakes only.
You guys need some like elaborate gender reveals happening, where people just, set off fireworks or, there's risk of personal injury or something like that. Like that's what you guys need to.
I will. I got it.
You guys need to start promoting that. What is your wackiest gender reveal?
Colored smoke bombs.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I saw one on the internet where somebody hired a crop duster with. The powder, the colored, smoke, to fly over as well. It's like that is
elaborate.
I mean, probably also not healthy to be breathing that in. But like the evolution, like where would you like to see it, or what are some of the conversations on how?
We're about to bring
evolves?
Food to Highland, which is a whole, that's been a journey in and of itself. But we hope to open pizza. We're bringing pizza to Highland. I'm not sure the cat's out of the bag at this point, but so that by the end of the year, that will change people's view. We hope. I mean, you're going to be operating like a restaurant in a different kind of a way. That's really leaning into some talents that we have on staff and changing the experience to more of a controllable.
I say this with all of my jersey. What does North Carolina know about pizza?
Well, I don't know about North Carolina, but I know our guy. He is Italian and he's got it in the bag.
Okay.
And we don't know a lot about pizza. I would be the first to admit I can make some collard greens and cabbage, but
which we cannot do in Jersey.
But so we can switch that out. But like a lot of people moved to North Carolina, Charlotte, Raleigh, Asheville. And they bring their pizza-loving talent with them. So that's our goal is to this will be a New Haven style pizza, which is all the nerds say are the best thing. Maybe even Matt McComish, who used to work with us, who might be a fan of said style. But we don't know much. Honestly,
all right, but it's going to happen.
But we have the people who do know much.
Yeah, exactly.
And yes, we're going to tap into that talent, that passion.
I'm excited for
the same passion, that we were founded on.
All right, I like that. I'm excited.
We know biscuits.
You do know biscuits. Yeah, no, we're not.
We can't make biscuits.
Greens biscuit. No, we can't do that up north. No. And we don't pretend to try.
Let's don't try that. Let's don't do that.
So, as in that sort of same vein, right? With the slow burn on certain things, with the evolution as well. As far as the company goes, right? Like we talked about some of the various facets of it, but as you think about the next couple of years, like what's the direction for Highland? And obviously, I imagine Helene has thrown a lot of wrenches into a lot of plans, but. What are you hoping to build upon in the next couple of years to really strengthen, for the next 30?
Our destination still has a lot of runway, so we're definitely going to lean into that. We're in 4 states, so we have to respect that and try to grow that. Beer isn't, as we said before, is in a weird spot. Craft beer specifically. Our hope is that with strength and dedication and obvious quality, which is a buzzword, but we hope to win there eventually and get some of our growth back that we deserve. So we'll start there, and but we have a lot of runway on site. So we will continue to host more people, develop more spaces that can bring in more income. I'm almost thinking that Highland could just be Highland, not Highland Brewing, but Highland as a brand is something that can offer experience unlike any other, and that would be an absolute dream.
I like that.
Yeah.
On this particular broadcast, I've been asking folks the green door question for the last couple of years. It started during COVID, but the premise is on the television show The Good Place. In the final season, they introduce a concept of the green door, and the characters can walk through it and be wherever they want, doing whatever they want. And so if we had a green door on our plane of existence and this conversation ended and you could walk through it and be at any pub or any brewery anywhere in the world, where would you want to go? Who would you want to be with? And what would you like to be drinking? Nikki, I'll start with you.
I mean, I knew you were going to ask this question, but it's an easy answer. And I want to be in the basement of Barley's with Oscar Wong. I want to sit on the curb with a 22 of that first Celtic ale, which would become Gaelic ale, and have a story time. Every Friday, he's in the brewery, and it's called Story Time. And he's got a group of folks that some are regulars, and others like come and go, and it's just like the best, and it's the heartbeat of our brand. And in my role now, I've gotten to spend a lot more time with Oscar, and I joked he is like my work dad, but that's where I want to be, sitting in the alley outside Barley's.
I like that.
We rehearsed this.
Oh, you did?
But we came to the same answer, and it might seem cliche, but he's my father-in-law, and he doesn't have much time left here, and yeah.
He is a wonderful, wonderful man, and everybody who's gotten to know him is the better for it. So we're obviously all thinking of you. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having the B team.
Yeah,
Leah
not the
here.
B team. No, you guys are great. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for doing this. My thanks to Sun King for the hospitality and for everyone that came out to the shows. Oscar Wong passed away at the end of May 2025. A celebration of life will be held at the brewery towards the end of this month, and I encourage you to check out the brewery's social media pages and website to learn more. I wrote about Wong's impact on my own life, and that piece is on allaboutbeer.com, and I hope you'll check it out. He will be sorely missed by all who knew and loved him, but we are richer in spirit for having known him. Before we run, just an invitation to go visit allaboutbeer.com, where you can read original articles as well as our archives, which go all the way back to 1979. As always, you can reach me anytime via email at johnhall@allaboutbeer.com. That's JOHNHOLL. And don't forget to follow and interact with All About Beer on social media at All About Beer. Before we run, here is a word from this week's sponsors. Since 2009, Brewery Branding has been crafting merch that helps breweries thrive. They're born and raised in Portland, Oregon, giving them front row seats to the craft beer revolution and inspiring them to serve as your industry ally for everything branded. Apparel, headwear, drinkware, and all of the wouldn't it be cool if ideas you can dream up. Brewery Branding has been there, done that, and made the t-shirts to prove it. Brewery Branding didn't rise to the top just by being just another supplier. They're your merch mercenaries, ready to get in the trenches with you. Their expert design team, online stores, warehousing, and fulfillment services are here to make your life easier and your custom goods more profitable than painful. Whether you're refreshing your retail space, gearing up for festival season, or launching a new product in retail, Brewery Branding delivers custom goods that are on trend, on brand, and ready to succeed. From the smallest batch to the biggest order, nothing gets them more excited than raising a glass to your success. Visit brewerybranding.com to learn more. Stomp Stickers isn't just a website. It's your custom printing partner with over 30 years of expertise. Their support squad is ready to help by phone, chat, or email. Combining top-notch customer service with a super easy-to-use site, they're all about making sure you get exactly what you need, fast. Shop with confidence thanks to their 100% satisfaction guarantee. Visit stompstickers.com and use code ThinkBeer for 15% off of your first order. If you're running a brewery, owner or operator, Beer 30 by The Fifth Ingredient is the ultimate command center. The most powerful brewery management software on the market, Beer 30 handles the entire brewing workflow from recipe development to production. Once your beer is brewed and ready, it seamlessly manages your inventory and streamlines your brewery's sales and distribution, all in the same easy-to-use platform. Beer 30 lets you get back to the beer and to the people that made you fall in love with this industry in the first place. And no other brewery management software gives you the ability to truly master your business and get the insights that you need to thrive in an increasingly competitive industry. Visit thefifthingredient.com/allaboutbeer today to learn more and receive 3 free months of Beer 30. Separate from this one, All About Beer has a podcast channel. Search and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice and listen to shows like Brewer to Brewer and the All About Beer podcast hosted by Don Tess and M. Souter. Steal This Beer has new podcast episodes every Monday, and the BYO Nano podcast comes out on the 15th of every month. As for this show, Nate Weber does our music, Jeff Quinn designed our logo, and I'm John Hall. New episodes release every Wednesday, and that's when I'll be back again to drink beer and to think beer.